What is going on, mi gente? Welcome back to Chino's Cosmic Corner, brought to you by Tech Based Gaming. It's your boy Chino, and mi gente, today we are going to be reviewing Superman 2025, directed by James Gunn, starring David Cronensworth. I hope I said that correctly. As Superman, we have Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, and a whole slew of amazing other actors who are just incredible in this movie. But either way, we're going to be reviewing Superman 2025. So let's just dive into it. Grab whatever it is you need in order to embrace the good vibes, mi gente. I myself, I got my pink lemonade. You already know the deal. I got a show on in the background for my dog as she's sleeping. But yes, mi gente, sit back, relax, enjoy the video. And now let's dive into the review. So, alright, mi gente, I don't even want to waste any time getting into the review because there is so much to talk about. Like, there is just so much happening and so many thoughts that I have about this movie that I really don't want to waste any time. So, real quick, I'm just going to take a quick sip. Amazing. But yes, mi gente, I just got home from watching Superman. And I gotta be honest, man, this movie was incredible. It was very good, and visually the movie was it was so Superman. I went like this to my girl because like so she could feel my arm. You guys can't really see, but whatever. I had goosebumps, man. Like the second the movie started, I was like, man, we just getting right into it. So I'm gonna let y'all know this movie does not waste any time getting into it, man. Like it is the second the logo kicks in, bro, it is just going. It is full throttle the whole movie. And yeah, there are some scenes where where they do some talking and stuff like that, but that's to be expected because Clark Kent, Lois Lane, they're reporters and journalists and stuff like that. And honestly, the whole movie to me was such a good experience. Now, when I did go see it, I saw it in a premium screen. At least that was closest to me, and that was Dolby Cinema. Uh, and it was a beautiful movie. I wish I could have seen it in IMAX, but unfortunately, the theater I went to, they no longer had IMAX screenings for it. So I was a little disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. But who knows? Maybe I'll try to see if someone else has it as an IMAX. But either way, I saw it in Dolby Cinema. So I saw it in a beautiful, beautiful screen, beautiful colors. Like the vibes were immaculate for Superman, and it honestly felt like so as I've said multiple times, I am a 90s kid. So, we grew up with a lot of like the animated series. So like Superman the animated series, Batman the animated series, Justice League Unlimited if I'm not mistaken. We got so many of those, and this just felt like a live action version of that. Now maybe I'm the only one that feels that way, and that's okay. That's okay. You can actually think this movie is trash. And you know what? I respect that. Because at the end of the day, not every movie is for everybody. Some people are gonna love it, some are gonna hate it, some are gonna be like, I liked it. So, hey, whatever you thought about this movie, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. But let's keep it respectful. Let's keep it, with the good vibes, all right? But this movie for me was what I was wanting from a Superman movie. Like it felt incredible. It gave me the same vibes from The Batman with Robert Pattinson, where that was the Batman movie that I have always wanted. Don't get me wrong, I love the Dark Knight trilogy, from Nolan and Bale. Those are some fantastic movies, especially the one with Heath Ledger. All right, rest in peace, Legend. But either way, this gave me the same vibes as Batman, and it was so amazing that way. Like, so in the Batman, right? Just for reference, when the Batman came out, I gave it a 9 out of 10. Uh, that's how much I love that movie. I have it on digital, have it on 4K physical media. I watch it numerous times. I don't care that it's like 3 hours long. It's a fantastic movie. But that whole movie was like, yes, yes, this is amazing. This is what I want from a Batman movie. I want to see that detective shit and everything. And this movie gave me those same exact vibes, but obviously just all Superman. It was bright, it was colorful. Like the sound, holy shit, the sound of when Superman would be flying through rain or like flying through fire, and like you just the sound effects of like the monsters fighting, and oh my god, the sound design was incredible, dude. Like I wish I saw this in 40x, because I could only imagine that the 40x with the fire and everything, you're probably going crazy. And I mean, in the beginning of the movie, it's literally like Superman falling down, just like the trailer. It's not even a spoiler, just a trailer. He falls down, and it's like the sound of the Dolby Cinema was like, whoa, shit. And the movie, like, so the beginning of the movie, it's essentially just telling you, it's like a quick few sentences telling you like, hey, this many years have passed, this many weeks have passed, centuries have passed. And I love that in that little sequence they do reference phase one, aka Gods and Monsters, I believe it is. Um, and so I did love that. But then I love how it literally tells you, uh, 3 minutes ago something happened. And you're like, oh, okay, that explains why this happened in the movie. And so I was like, all right, thank you. Thank you for just providing me some simple context. But one thing that I loved about this movie was that it did not waste its time with backstory, bro. You know how usually the movies start off and it's like, oh, boom, Batman's parents get shot. Boom, Uncle Ben gets shot. Oh my god, Krypton is blowing up. Nah, bro, this shit said screw the backstory. This is Superman. This is Green Lantern. This is Mr. Terrific. This is HawkGirl. That's it. And then you just find them out later, like, oh, okay, they're part of a crew, whatever. But I love the fact that it didn't really waste any time on that. And you kind of just got the backstory of Superman through, like, just dialogue throughout the movie. So that's why I was like, yes, this is incredible. But let me get more detailed with this review because I'm just going on this random ass tangent. So, first things first, David Corenswet, or well, I can't say his last name right for some reason. Um, that dude, yeah. I I saw the vision when the casting was originally announced. I saw the vision, and if you've seen like the movies like Pearl and Twisters, you're gonna see, oh, okay, yeah, this dude, he could potentially be Superman. So when they announced the casting, I was like, okay, this is cool. But finally seeing it in its final version, and who knows, maybe for the, physical release, maybe we'll get an extended version, which, I'm praying for that. But, you know, I felt like he was Superman. Like, the second he took that screen, for me at least, like he just had that Superman look to him, that Superman vibe, where like he's walking and everything. You're like, yeah, that's Superman. And then the first few minutes, you get some dialogue, and it's kind of like a little funny, but it's also a little serious. And you're like, bro, this is exactly how I imagine Superman would be in real life. And to me, he's up there. I might get some hate for this, but he's up there with Christopher Reeves. All right, he's up there. David was amazing as Superman. Superman, like, as you watch the movie, you're like, holy shit, dude, this is Superman. This is what I'm talking about. Throughout the movie, this man is trying to save every living person, thing, animal, insect, whatever you want to say. Throughout the whole movie, he is trying to save everything. And that's exactly how Superman would be. And he killed it, man. He was honestly a perfect Superman. And just like Robert Pattinson, I'm like, dude, hook these two up in a movie. Give me a world's finest. I know, I'm pretty sure the sequel will not be that, which is pretty sad because I freaking love World's Finest. Which, if you haven't read World's Finest comic, I highly suggest you pick those up. They're fantastic. They're fantastic. And ironically, Superman's competition, the Fantastic Four, comes out this Friday. Right? Yeah, I think it's this Friday or Thursday. But either way, um, yeah, he was an amazing Superman. He had like this little like it wasn't really like swag. It was like almost like the Superman nerdiness and everything like that. And when he was Clark Kent, you were like, holy shit, yeah, that's Clark Kent, dude. Like it was just perfect. Like I'll see if I could post a picture somewhere around here of his Clark Kent, and it was like, bro, yeah, that's exactly how he would look like. And I do wish we got a little bit more of the Daily Planet. I'm just gonna say that right now. I do wish we just got a little bit more of that because when we did go to those points in the movie, it was pretty good. So I would like to see more of that in the future. But David was fantastic. The next character we're going to, Rachel Brosnahan. Yo, bro, Rachel Brosnahan, I was not familiar with your game. That, yo, she is the perfect Lois Lane, in my opinion. She was so good that throughout watching this movie, I was like, dude, this is Lois Lane. She is Lois Lane, bro. Like, there's a scene in the movie where it's not a spoiler or anything like that, but she is interviewing uh Superman, Clark Kent. And she's interviewing him and she was not backing down, bro. She was like Superman was getting emotional and he was like getting angry, but she was like being the true journalist that she is, the true news reporter that she was sticking to her guns. She was like not backing down from this shit. She was fully invested into this, asking the hard questions that you already know from reading the comics or watching the cartoons, like I said previously. It felt like that because Superman would have those times where he would get a little bit emotional, you know what I'm saying? And David found the perfect way to portray that. But Rachel was killing it with how she was just making sure to be like, yo, I'm also here. I'm also doing my job. I'm strong. I'm not going to back down from you, blah, blah, blah. And she was an amazing Lois Lane. She was great. And like, honestly, she might be my favorite Lois Lane to date. Cause, and also the look for her was the perfect Lois Lane. And I'm glad they kind of went back to like the dark haired Lois Lane. Um, no, like obviously Lois Lane and Man of Steel and stuff like that. Very different Lois Lane in my opinion. But she was also very journalistic, and also Amy Adams, incredible actress. So I did like her. But I think Rachel Brosnahan just kind of brought that. I feel like she just kind of brought like that. I don't know, like some that attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like where you were like, bro, yo, hold up, why you being so aggressive? You know what I'm saying? And it was like in the movie, she says that she was like a very punk rock or whatever as she was a child, and you definitely got that from how she was acting and shit. And my only question was, how the hell was she able to fly? Although Mr. Terrific did say it was kind of easy. But the way she flew Mr. Terrific ship was hilarious. It was so funny. And that should be a roller coaster. Yeah, it should. There was a scene in there that I'm like, bro, if that was a roller coaster, that would be incredible. But yeah, she was an amazing Lois Lane. Um, so let's just kind of keep it moving because I don't want to make this video like 2 hours long. But Jimmy Olsen, I can't remember his name right now. Hold up. Uh, just want to bring up his name and be correct with it. Let me see here. What the heck is his name? Just give me the cast. Jesus Christ. I don't want to see numbers right now. I just want to see the cast. There we go. Okay. Uh, Skyler Gisondo. I'm pretty sure I butchered that name. But him as Jimmy Olsen, I do wish he was in the movie a little bit more frequently. Uh, but the rumors are that apparently he's gonna get a spin-off show, so maybe most of his filming time was for that, potentially. I don't really know. I do wish he was in the movie a little bit more, but he was also a funny as Jimmy Olsen. They kind of turned him into like this playboy character, which I don't remember off the top of my head, but I don't really remember him being like a playboy character like that. in the comics, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something I missed, or maybe I'm just like, oh, whatever. But I think he was pretty good. It was his his relationship to one character in the movie was pretty funny. But I believe by the end of the movie, maybe he took it a little bit more seriously. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. Let me know if you agree in the comments below. Without, although at this point, I mean, maybe the spoiler ban is lifted. I don't really know, but tell me what you guys think in the comments below. But I think he kind of started turning around towards the end. Um, but yeah, he was a pretty decent Jimmy Olsen. I definitely think he's fine. Like I said, I wish we would have seen more of him. He did come in clutch though, with coming in with a story and stuff like that and his sources. So he did come in clutch. But yeah, I just kind of wish we saw a little bit more of him. But otherwise, I think it was great casting. I think he's perfect. I'm honestly a big fan of Skyler. I've been a fan of his for a while. The dude is hilarious. I love him in the movie Vacation, if you've seen that movie. Um, but okay. Next character I want to talk about is let's see. You know what? We got the cast up, so let's kind of go in. Oh, you know what? How am I forgetting? This should have been before Jimmy, but Lex Luthor and Nicholas goddamn Hoult. You crazy son of a bitch. Bro, perfect. It's perfect. Okay? The dude was the perfect Lex Luthor. And James Gunn, you crazy bastard, maybe it worked out even more because if you don't know, Nicholas Hoult originally tried out to be Superman, and I believe in a recent interview he did with another, I think it was like a podcast, I think maybe, I have no idea. He said that as soon as he saw David, he knew he had lost the role of Superman. And first of all, I understand why after watching this movie. No offense, Nicholas Hoult, you're a great actor. But David was Superman. But just as great as he is Superman, you are, good sir, a freaking phenomenal Lex Luthor. Phenomenal Lex Luthor, bro. Like, and maybe the fact that he lost the role out to David kind of gave him that extra oomph. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what happened. Maybe he was like taking that extra, like, oh man, you stole my role, and kind of turned it into, his Lex Luthor role. And yeah, man, he was great. He was fantastic, dude. He was awesome. And I really like. There was one scene where I wanted to jump through. I wanted to jump through the freaking screen, and I just wanted to like I wanted to choke the bitch. You know what I'm saying? There was actually a few scenes where I wanted to choke that bitch, but he was an incredible Lex Luthor. Like, and if you've seen the trailer, there's like a scene where he has like a revolver and he's kind of doing like the Russian roulette thing, bro. The context of that scene is like you want to mess that bitch up. But he was a great Lex Luthor. And he was definitely such a freaking hater in this movie. But what I love about it is that he literally just flat out says he hates Superman. He essentially admits that he's just jealous of Superman's success and everything like that. And what's crazy is that like the synergy, the synergy, and that's one thing I will say too. Everyone in this movie just had this chemistry to them that you're like, bro, this shit is believable as hell. You would think that they have all acted together at some point or that they might actually be friends, but like, which is kind of the interaction you get with Lex Luthor and Superman in the comics. In my opinion, that's kind of what you get sometimes. Um, and so for that to be brought here was incredible. And Nicholas Hoult, like, don't get me wrong. At first, he's an incredible actor. I'm a huge fan of his. I was a little concerned about him being Lex Luthor. I was. But boy, oh boy, was I proven wrong. That man killed it as Lex Luthor. He was incredible. Um, like that dude was just like, and like, dude, it's just you have to see the movie. This shit was incredible. Like, I'm gonna try to keep this spoiler free to a degree, once I don't care, I'll probably just put like a spoiler section, like on the timeline or whatever. But Lex Luthor was incredible, man. Like that dude really was a piece of shit, man. He was garbage through and through. Such a hater, man. And at the end of the movie, there's a scene with him and Krypto, and it was so deserving. It was so deserving. It it was hilarious. So that's gonna lead to my next character that I want to talk about, which is Krypto. Krypto the dog, 10 out of 10. I loved Krypto to death. I would run through brick walls for Krypto, although he could do it on his own. But Krypto was incredible. I I loved him. And he was like, if you're a dog owner or even just a pet owner in general, they the relationship between Superman and Krypto is hilarious because it's like, bro, throughout the whole movie I was like, yep, that's my dog. Yep, that's exactly what my dog does. And I think if you're a pet owner, you're gonna be like, holy shit, that is so relatable. It was he was Krypto was incredible. And there was one scene where like I'm pretty sure Mr. Terrific was actually flying on Krypto. It wasn't, if I could find the shot, I'm gonna post it here. Like it was a cool ass shot. Which is leading me to my next character, Mr. Terrific. Holy hallelujah, holy shit. It was, bro, Mr. Terrific was freaking incredible. That, bro, and I can't, I know I'm not gonna say his name right, but Eddie, Edie, bro, they did you dirty in X-Men, but oh my, in X-Men I should say, but oh my God, and Superman, James Gunn made sure that your character was the most badass mother there was, bro, because bro, Mr. Terrific he was the highlight of the movie for me. Like I know I gave praise to everyone so far, especially David Corenswet, Corenswet, whatever. Superman, I know I gave a lot of praise to Superman, and he was incredible. But my favorite character of the movie was Mr. Terrific by far, bro. By far and away, Mr. Terrific was my favorite character. Dude, that man finally got the respect he deserved. Finally, and they made him look so freaking cool. And his jacket, I need that jacket, bro. That jacket was so incredible, bro. And like, there was a scene where they're at Lois Lane is talking to the Justice Gang. That's their name in the thing. They're called the Justice Gang. Uh, but interesting enough, on their chest, if you watch the movie, their suits kind of give off like a JL look. So I'm assuming they might be called Justice League very very soon, or maybe even in Peacemaker season 2, maybe. But either way, um, Mr. Terrific was literally terrific. Like he had maybe like a minute action scene, maybe a minute and a half, and it was it gave me the vibes of Yondu's fight scenes in Guardians of the Galaxy. Now I think about it, like when he uses like the whistle, like I don't want to whistle because my dog is sleeping. Um, but when he's like controlling his little, you know, thing in Guardians of the Galaxy, that's kind of what it gave me vibes of, and it was incredible. It was hilarious, and he looked amazing doing it. And his inventions were awesome, dude. But there was one scene where I was like, bro, like really? And then Lois Lane literally said what I was thinking. So I don't know. Maybe they were just in my head. Maybe James Gunn was like, yeah, this is how, a watcher would react to this. But Mr. Terrific was incredible. And I think, as a matter of fact, all right, man, that we back. So, what I went to go grab real quick was these beauties right here. These Mr. Terrific comics right here. Bro, watching him was like reading these shits and seeing it like, oh my god. Bro, incredible. But by the way, if you haven't read this, I highly recommend it. So far, I think it's like 2 or 3 issues in. like incredible as comic. But this shit, bro, like look at this, and I think I'm gonna put a picture here of like his character design in the movie. Tell me it's just perfect. It's literally perfect. Down to like the little orbs. I can't remember what the hell they're called right now. But like he was incredible. And so yeah, whenever he was on like the freaking scene, he just stole it, bro. He was just incredible. And they made him do some cool shit, man. Like, damn. Like, oh my, I kind of want to see this movie again. God, Jesus. But all right, he was incredible. And the next character I want to, there's a lot of characters in this movie, man. I'm gonna do the main ones. The smaller side characters, I might not talk about them. I might just kind of bunch them up. But the next character I want to talk about is Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, bro. I mean, honestly, Nathan Fillion has, if I'm not mistaken, he has voiced Green Lantern a bunch of times. A bunch of times he has voiced the character. But when I saw him originally being casted for Guy Gardner, I was like, I don't know. I think this is just James Gunn hiring his friends. But let me shut the fuck up because, bro, he was the perfect Guy Gardner. Like, like in the trailer, they kind of show him going like this, and then like the hands are like kind of like tossing tanks around and shit. But dude, the hands at one point start going like this, as like to start flipping tanks, and it was hilarious. It was the most hilarious shit, bro. And I love the fact that they just got so creative and funny with how Green Lantern was like using his ring. Like at one scene, he's like, "Look, I created oven mitts," and when you look, it's literally these gigantic green oven mitts. And it was like, bro, this man got creative with some of his shit. And honestly, the bowl cut at first, I was like, this looks ridiculous. But in the movie, I think they might have kind of changed it a little bit. But for the movie, it fit perfectly. Like, it was just perfect. But Nathan Fillion was honestly a perfect choice for Guy Gardner. And now I cannot wait for the Lantern show because that shit is about to be peak as hell. And honestly, Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner with the Hal Jordan and John Stewart is going to be amazing, especially John Stewart and because I think John Stewart. I don't even want to get into that because I don't want to get too off chart, but I think his character would be perfect for the two for Hal and John Stewart in the Lantern show, and honestly, this has me excited for it because if they're this creative in a PG-13 Superman movie, I can't even imagine how they're gonna be for a freaking mature HBO show. I, I'm excited, man. Hold up. I'm excited. Ah, they won't see it because it's green. Okay. You know what? Here. Maybe this will work. I'm just gonna do a blue one. I'm ready, bro. I have a blue one too. I have a whole bunch of these. But yeah, bro, I'm ready. I'm ready for Green Lanterns, dog. I'm ready for that show, and it's gonna it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be incredible. So I can't wait for that. And honestly, like Green Lantern, he had this like the dude was so Guy Gardner. Like it was literally like ripped out of the pages. Cause in the comics, Guy Gardner he's honestly the most annoying dude in the freaking universe, and he literally portrays that in this movie. Fantastic casting. James Gunn. I no complaints there. Oh, now I want to talk about Isabella Merced as HawkGirl. First of all I'm gonna say is uh, a lot of people complain that James Gunn doesn't do like sex appeal in movies, but honestly, like he really doesn't need to because, like, in my opinion, the girl characters in almost all of his superhero movies have been like they've been kind of like their own slight version of like, oh shit. And this hot girl, the way she carried herself and everything, it was like, damn girl, I see you. And there was like this subtle noise that I don't know if it was intentional. I don't what I should say is I don't remember hearing this like in the video games or in the animated show, but whenever HawkGirl was flying around or about to get into action, she would make like this screeching sound, almost like almost kind of similar to what the heck's her name? I believe it's is it the Black Canary? I think it is. Green Arrow's girl. Like like she can do like a scream or some shit. But Hot Girl was doing like this, almost like this sound, and I was like, dude, that is such a good freaking detail because you would just hear it in the background, and with the Dolby, as she's flying around, you hear that shit just kind of going around your head, and you're like, whoa, what the shit, bro? Incredible. The helmet was awesome. The helmet was on point. Um, but again, like my small complaint, I don't know if I've said this in the review yet, was that the suits for Green Lantern and Hawkgirl, they just kind of they were like okay. Like when you see how incredible Superman's suit is and Mr. Terrific suit is and stuff like that, you're like, "Oh shit, these are amazing." And even the villains, you're like, "Wow, this shit is dope." For some reason like the jackets, I don't know, they kind of seemed a little off for some reason. I don't know. But maybe just a temporary outfit. Maybe they'll get more comic accurate ones in the future. Um, because again, with this being like the first official movie, I'm not expecting too much. But yeah, other than that, they were fantastic. Uh, let's see, Isabella Merced, by the way, her scene, she was pretty good, but I do wish they kind of used her a little bit more. She's kind of like out of all the metahumans, she's kind of like sidelined the most, I think. But if I'm not it might be because she was in The Last of Us, so maybe The Last of Us took most of her filming time. But yeah, I just kind of wish they used her a little bit more. Maybe we'll see her in the future, maybe in Peacemaker or some shit. But she was incredible in the movie. The next character I want to talk about is Metamorpho, bro. Metamorpho, which I have his comic somewhere in this pile, but I want to get the name right of the guy who plays him. And where's he at? Where's he at? Where's he at? Anthony Carrigan. First of all, big fan. Love your work. But bro, when they casted this man as Metamorpho, I was already like, sign me the hell up. That sounds amazing. And he probably like in total, there's probably like 5-10 minutes of screen time for Metamorpho, maybe. But man, oh man, is he fantastic in every single second of it. Like I I was telling my girl throughout the whole time, I'm like, dude, I really hope we see more of him. And literally the second I said that, boom, they showed more of him. And I was like, yes. The way they made his powers look, bro, were it was just it was a thing of freaking beauty. Like I don't know, I'm assuming obviously there was like CGI involved with his powers and stuff. But a part of me also wonders if they might have used a practical suit, maybe for some of it, because he looked incredible. Like it was amazing, and the fact that James Gunn was using these characters that like the normal viewer wouldn't know is incredible to me. But yet he still managed to make them be like, oh shit, that's kind of cool. Like you're telling me, like right now, I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of brand new Mr. Terrific fans. You know what I'm saying? And a bunch of brand new Hawk Girl fans and Metamorpho fans. Which, by the way, if you're curious, Metamorpho does have a brand new comic series right now. It is honestly very good. I think it's about 6, 7 issues in. I think. Um, Fantastic comic though. Um, but Metamorpho was amazing, and his son Joey, awesome. Even though that's like James Gunn did like, oh man, that lemonade is a little bit sour. Oh my god. But it's so damn good and refreshing that I just want to drink it. Even though it kind of makes me look like a cherry redhead right now. A cherry redhead. A cherry airhead. Like you remember those commercials where like the airhead would be like and then, but either way, um, what was it? Shit, Metamorpho. He was incredible, man, and the use of his powers looked really good. And there was one scene where I'm gonna post a picture up where it involves Metamorpho, Superman, Joey, and Krypto, and they're like in this black hole or whatever. I'm not gonna tell you how they got there or anything like that. And Superman's kind of like this, you know, and visually it was amazing. If I could find a picture of it, I'll go ahead and post a picture somewhere here. But honestly, it was such a beautiful shot. It was incredible to me. But honestly, and Metamorpho was awesome. He was incredible. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's about it for superhero like metahumans. Uh, yes. Yeah, okay. So, real quick, let's get into the villains. The first one I want to talk about, the engineer, or I should say, tech master, whatever you wanna call her. Um, but the engineer, I believe her name is Engineer. Yeah, the engineer, played by Maria de Faria. I think I said that name right. She was awesome. She was so cool, man. Like, and again, this is a like I don't think they've used her in any big Superman properties before, but I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure there's some shows or something that I might have missed. But she was awesome, and like the way her body would be like with the nanites and how it would transform to these different shits, it looked cool as shit. It looked cool as shit. And they got really creative with how they used her powers. It was very cool. And she was fantastic. You know, she was in the movie a good amount because obviously she was one of the main villains, but she was awesome. I'm not too familiar with the actress's work. I'll be honest with you on that, but she was great. I had no complaints whatsoever. And that's one thing I'm gonna say right now. Everybody that's in this movie, whether it be main characters, side characters, down to the most minimal characters, they're all to me they're all perfectly casted. I really would not replace anybody. In my humble opinion, I would not replace anybody. Um, they all kind of just meshed really well together. Um, and it was just such a good movie. Like, oh man. But the engineer was great. The use of her powers were awesome. And this swag she had to her, like, yo, she was like, it was like, damn girl, like what the like I understand you doing your job, but please, not with so much, with sass. You know what I'm saying? She was great, and uh, her fight scenes were pretty good too, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, she was awesome. Ultraman, who's the other villain, they do reveal who Ultraman is, but I'm not gonna say who it is. But also, because I don't want to spoil anything, like I said, I'm gonna try to keep this as a spoiler-free review as much as I can. Um, I don't know if I'm gonna do a like a spoiler section or anything. I don't think so, to be honest. Because I want people to be able to enjoy this movie, as much as they can without knowing as much as they can. Because I feel like that's the best way to go into movies. Like, yeah, you'll hear my opinions, and hopefully they don't skew your views too much on the movie. I want you to be able to go into the movie with, fresh eyes, just enjoy the movie. Or if you don't enjoy it, you didn't enjoy it. But either way, um, the Ultraman, he was very good, and he was messing Superman up, bro. He was giving Superman the business, bro. It was crazy, and I think they used Ultraman very effectively in this movie. I'm not gonna lie, and I I kind of feel like there might be a future where Ultraman comes back in a different way. That's all I'm gonna leave it at. But honestly, it was a really good villain. Don't wanna don't want to spoil anything. The next character I want to talk about really quick is Eve. She is a side character, and she also plays Lex Luthor's girlfriend. And yo, honestly, she was awesome. At first you think she's just this, this girl who's like just another person who just wants to get views and clicks, and so she's always, taking selfies and shit. But she's smarter than you think. That's all I'm gonna say. She is smarter than you think. And to be real, if it was, she was the MVP of this movie. She was a side character, but she had a big little plot in the movie, and I was like, oh shit, okay, all right. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. But she was incredible. I think she was great. Whoever portrayed her, Sara, she was awesome. I think she was great. Like, I really had no complaints with her. And like when she was like, you kind of felt for her at some points too. That's why I was like, yo, dude, like James Gunn nailed it with all these freaking castings, in my opinion. Is there anyone else I want to talk about? Ma and Pa Kent, real quick, I loved them. I absolutely loved them in this movie. They they were how Ma and Pa Kent should be. They were perfect. But honestly, I haven't really felt like there's ever really been a bad Pa and Ma Kent, in my opinion. Um, but Neva Howell and Pruitt Taylor Vince, they were fantastic as Ma and Pa Kent. There was a few scenes where I was like, yo, I was kind of tearing up a little bit. Is because like it's like, I don't know. It was just James Gunn used them very effectively, and they weren't even in the movie that much, to be honest. But James Gunn made sure that when they were on screen, you felt the real love from Ma and Pa Kent. They were incredible in my opinion. No complaints there either. I'm trying to think who else is here that I might need to talk about. Wendell Pierce as Perry. He was also very good. Uh, don't really have complaints there either. He was a phenomenal actor. He is a phenomenal actor, I should say. And yeah, he was a perfect Perry White. No complaints over here. But yes, Wendell Pierce, phenomenal. Perry White. I don't know if we're gonna see him in anything else, but again, he's also not on screen that much in this movie. Very minimal. Uh, but again, with the rumors of a Jimmy Olsen spinoff, I'm assuming we might see him there. Uh, what I would like to see is a Jimmy Olsen spinoff where he's just kind of like, hey, like finding out more metahumans, finding out villains or whatever it may be. I don't know. So, all right, mi gente, this is one spoiler that I am going to be talking about. Supergirl. Oh my God. Supergirl, Millie Alcock, bro. She is perfect. She's literally on screen for maybe 30 seconds to a minute. And the whole time I'm like, bro, yes. She's Supergirl, bro. And the fact that she came in and she was drunk and battered up and just like, like I don't give a attitude and shit. And I think she even tells Superman like, "Oh, see you later, bitch," or whatever. Like it was already like, "Yes, bro, this is Supergirl. This is Supergirl. Like that's it." And honestly, I can't wait for that movie now, bro. I can't wait for that movie. And now I can't even wait for Peacemaker season 2 because that shit is going to be incredible. It's going to be awesome in my opinion. But yeah. And honestly, I was shocked because for the past like 2 weeks I have been avoiding all spoilers on this damn movie, and it has been hard as hell to do. And luckily I have, because this caught me so off guard. I literally was like, "Oh shit." Like it was a dope ass moment because obviously I already knew she was casted as Supergirl, and I already knew she was gonna be Supergirl and show up at some point. But I did not think it would be this soon. I did not think it would be this soon. And like Krypto is like, "Oh my God, mom is back, right?" And he starts playing with her, but he starts like banging her against the floor. And while earlier in the movie, Superman is like, "Krypto, stop!" Krypto, like, "Oh my God." Supergirl's over here like, "Oh my God, she's having the time of her life," and he just keeps slamming her harder and harder and hard. Like, it was the funniest shit, and it was the best end credit scene, bro. It was amazing. It wasn't actually, now I think about it, it wasn't even an end credit scene. It was literally the ending of the movie. Damn, I might need to see this movie again. Um, but yeah, I can't wait to see Supergirl now. they already released the first official poster, which I put up on my Comic Haul video, which I'll put another poster here. And I can't freaking wait. And after watching this movie, now I understand why they switched it up from look up to look out. And honestly, I can't wait, bro. I can't wait for it. And honestly, the movie was fantastic, man. Like the movie was so freaking good, man. It was amazing. It was honestly amazing. Like I really don't have any major complaints about the movie. There were some parts of the movie where I was like, I kind of wish they went a little bit further into that, or I kind of wish this was extended a little bit. But at the end of the day, I also felt like the movie was the perfect amount of time. It was about 2 hours and 10 minutes, 2:15 ish, and I thought it was a perfect length. Any longer, and I think people would have started to be like, I'm kind of, I'm kind of over it. When is it gonna end? So James Gunn, I applaud you because it was very good for you to just call it at almost 2 hours. It was perfect length time in my opinion. And on that note, James Gunn, honestly, no complaints, man. The music, the dun, 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 like, bro, dun, dun, dun. But bro, it was amazing. It was in my head and it's still in my head right now. Beautiful, beautiful score to Superman. I really have no complaints about this movie. This movie was incredible, and my I was smiling ear to ear the whole movie. No part of the movie having like this or border. It was just I was ear to ear smiling. I had such a ride. It literally felt like the comics came to life for this movie. It really did, man. Like it was so good. It was a fantastic movie. Like I don't know. Only time will tell what will happen with the future of DC, but man, this movie was great. I think James Gunn I think James Gunn has a plan, obviously, and I think he's onto something. I don't know. And I'm very interested to see what world he creates. Like because clearly he loves the comics. He knows what the hell he's talking about. Because, like I said, he has taken the Guardians of the Galaxy, which you can fight me all you want, but their comics do not sell like that. Their comics were not known to be the best comics at all. People barely knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy were, and James Gunn managed to make them these huge, movie stars essentially. And so that's why I'm like, I really don't think he can make a bad Superman movie. Now, is this movie perfect? It is not perfect in any way, shape, or form. For a movie to be perfect, it's gonna be a little tough to be there. Especially nowadays, I feel like perfect movies don't really exist like that. You always get those few hits here and there, but this movie was freaking amazing in my opinion. And like I said, it was as good as the Batman, and for me, like it was awesome. I really have no complaints about this movie. The only thing, like I said, is I kind of wish we could have saw more like of the journalistic side of like Superman and Lois and stuff like that. But it was awesome. One thing I was curious to see though was how James Gunn made this like PG-13, but he kind of pushed the limits of PG-13 just a little bit. Because it's definitely not a family movie, in my opinion. Like, there's nothing too over the top, but like, I don't really know if it's like for kids. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe it is, but if you're a parent, you know your kid better than anyone, so you wouldn't know if they can handle this movie. Um, but it was a fantastic movie, man. It was really good. So James Gunn, round of applause, man. This shit was awesome. Like, and also, I like what you did. I like what you did with the change to Superman mythos. I know some people are like, why did they change that? It's a freaking comic book movie. Who the hell cares? They change Superman mythos almost every freaking time. I mean, one of the best selling Superman ones right now, Absolute Superman, is completely different mythos than what we know of for Superman. And it's selling like freaking hotcakes. I love it. So that's why I'm like, it's a comic book movie. This is not real. Superman is not real as much as we wish he was. He is not a real kid. He is not a real person. So change the mythos. I don't really care. And I think it was such a subtle change that I'm like, who the hell cares, bro? Now I'm just more curious to see what James Gunn has up his sleeve in regards to this whole mythos change. But either way, so my final thoughts on the movie, honestly, man, fantastic movie. If I was you, I would go watch it in theaters before it leaves the premium screens. But if you can only watch it in a base screen, still, I would go do it. It is a fantastic movie, and I think that you guys will enjoy it, even if you're just like even like a moderate comic book reader. I think you would enjoy it. It's a very comic book movie, and as a comic book fan, a Superman fan, this was great. I really have no complaints about it. Like, it's phenomenal, man. Like, I, I really don't know what to say about it. Like, for it to be bad. Like I said, I do wish some of the characters were just used a little bit more. But I'm assuming that's gonna be throughout other shows, other movies, or whatever. Like, if you ever read Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, you know, who knows? Some of these characters might show up there. Some of these characters might show up in Peacemaker season 2 because we have no idea. Although I think at the time of this recording, they did just release the Peacemaker season 2 trailer, so I'm kind of curious to watch it. I'm kind of curious, but sorry about that, mi gente. I had to go check up on my dog real quick. But yes, mi gente, this movie was incredible. I highly recommend it. Like, for anybody, even if you're new to comic book movies, if you're looking for something lighthearted, because I'll be real with you guys. After this movie, when I was leaving the cinema, I just felt like, oh wow, like that just made me feel like happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially at the end, it just made me feel happy. It made me feel like yes, man, like there's still goodness in the world. You know what I'm saying? Especially with how crazy shit is now. And like I said, I don't talk politics and shit, so I don't want to get into that. But with all the craziness in this world, this movie was just like a feel good movie. And it was like, yes, bro. This is what we needed right now, in my opinion. And I'll be curious to see how Fantastic Four is. Um, Not sure when I'll be able to see that. But honestly, this was a great movie. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm gonna give it like it's hard, right? Because I do love Superman so much. Like, I love his comics and everything. I love the IP, and I just don't want to like give into like recency bias or anything like that. Um, but honestly, WB got a banger on their hands. I think this is a win. I think it's huge. Um, but to be real with you guys, uh, it's like I said, it's not perfect, right? So I want to be as fair as possible. So now, for example, the Batman, I gave that a 9 out of 10, and I think I said that earlier in the video. But for this movie, like I said, I do feel like there was some stuff that I do wish was a little bit more fledged out. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there were some aspects where maybe he was like, "Oh shit, this is probably getting a little too long," so we kind of need to cut it here and just kind of move the story along. Um, but like I said, I don't know. I don't know how James Gunn is. I don't know what his vision was. But either way, the movie was great. Um, so to be real with you guys, I'm gonna give this movie a 8.5 out of 10, and I'm gonna give it, for the first time ever, a Chino seal of approval, and I want to show it to you guys right here. Bum, ba, bum, the Golden Cookie seal of approval for Superman 2025. The first time I've ever given that away, and I might change the design of it, but this was a placeholder design. But yes, man, this movie was very, very good, and I think DC with James Gunn is under. Is I think it's in good hands, man. I think this is gonna be a very interesting journey, and the fact that he's already said that even though Blue Beetle and Peacemaker are canon to DC to DCU, this is obviously the beginning of James Gunn's vision, and I can't wait to see how he's gonna incorporate all these stories and everything like that, the movies that he's already greenlit and stuff. Like, I can't wait to see what his plan is long term. I'm really curious. So yes, mi gente, I'm giving Superman an 8.5 out of 10. This movie was a solid banger, man. It was very good. I highly recommend you guys pick it up. Whenever it's released on physical media, it will be added to my collection, no doubt about that. And honestly, mi gente, I would be curious to hear your thoughts down below. But remember, Whether you liked it, whether you hated it, whether you loved it, just keep the comments up with the good vibes. Don't come in here trying to stir the pot and everything. Like, just be respectful and just be kind with everybody, all right? Because, like I say, we're always about the good vibes here at Tech Based Gaming, all right, mi gente? So, that is my review of Superman 2025. Like I said, I'll be curious to hear your thoughts down below. And mi gente, as always, it has been a tremendous pleasure. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, rest of the day, whenever it is that you're watching this. Just hope you guys are allowing the good vibes to manifest. And who knows, maybe we'll see another Golden Cookie when the Fantastic Four releases, but who knows? Only time will tell. But alright, mi gente, as I always say, let the stress go, let the good vibes flow. This is your boy Chino signing out. Peace.